99.9% of this world today have not got an ounce of emotion or energy or thought going into the responses they're giving to their clients. It's premeditated, and I guarantee you'll have done it for the last 8 years or however long you've been there. You'll give the same response to a client every day. I've been in clinics in America, and I've told this story before, where all weekend it rained, and it was the biggest monsoon of like the year. All weekend, right? And at 8:15 on the morning, when the first client arrived in the clinic, the receptionist, thinking that she's lovely and thinking that she gives great customer service and is up her own ass and thinks she's the best ever. The client walks through the door and it's like, didn't even know her name, didn't even know the client's name. And she said, so how was your weekend? And the patient went, oh, okay. Enjoying the weather? Enjoying the weather? It's like, there's puddles in the car park. It's done nothing but rain. And all over the news, it's like Hurricane friggin' Sandy's hitting the whole area. Everybody's being encouraged to stay indoors and get out. Like, for 7 days I've been in that whole area and nothing happened other than rain. Flights were cancelled. Like, everybody was panicking, thinking that the whole place was going to like be shut down. And the secretary asks, how's the weather? Did you enjoy the weather? And literally the patient went, well, not really, it rained all weekend. Oh, but, and you could see her backtracking.
Yeah.
But what that was 8:15, normally in that place where that is, I'm not going to say it because the guy watches this stuff. I'm not going to say it, but it's normally sunny as hell.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is the automatic, monotonal, like 20 years of her life at 8:15 on a Monday, she asks, did you enjoy the weather at the weekend? Because normally the sun shines.
Yeah.
But on this day when it had been raining all weekend and was forecast to rain all week and everybody's talking about the rain, her brain was still in, let me just ask that same question that I do every single week. And that same lady thinks that she gives an amazingly friendly, personalised customer service. And within an hour it's like, You don't. You think you do, but you don't know what you don't know. So just asking that, are you okay, good morning, would you like a cup of coffee, is not great service. It's like, that gets you on the 100-metre line and then we've got a race to win. So for you, you've got to think through how we like want our customers to feel. So there, in a law firm, your customers then wanted to feel safe and secure. And we all do, ultimately underneath, we all want to feel safe and secure, but in that environment they do. And this actually is a great contrast of what I've taught for a long time. So when I've said to you before, we don't call them Mr. Gough and we don't say take a seat and we don't say consultation because of, and I've said this, quoted them a lot of times, it reminds them of being in a lawyer's office. It reminds them of being in a doctor's office, which if I'm in a lawyer's office, 9 out of 10 times, unless I'm buying a house, there's probably a situation I don't want to be in. Would you agree?
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
There's only buying a house that I can think of I'm excited to be in a law firm.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm probably in trouble. I'm going to get screwed over. Somebody's taking me to court. My wife's leaving me and wants half my cash, if not more. I haven't seen my kids for 6 months and I'm trying desperately hard to get them. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
What? I'll just describe my life. Not yet. Not yet. So if you think, right, what happens is when you start to use the words take a seat, Mr. So-and-so, consultation, these are patterns that people have that when they hear those words, they don't feel very happy or content. They feel a little bit safe in their, like, in this formal environment, and that's kind of where they might want to be in a law firm. But we don't want them to feel that way here because they have to be there. So even though those chemicals and drugs go through their body and they don't feel great, whenever anyone's sat in that reception, if you could see it like as a dye going through their body, there will be so many bad chemicals running through their body, which makes them feel awful and they do not want to be there from the minute they walk through. And then if you could see as they leave, there will be this rush of chemicals that goes back through. So it'll go from like dark and black to like bright and light and whatever. And this would be like what's going on in their body. So they open the door of like their law firm, it's like, oh thank God, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
But they have to go back because they're in trouble. And the consequences of not going back are grave. Much graver than not going back to a physio clinic and getting some treatment for this chronic lower back pain that they've suffered with for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's massive to understand. So they can get away with that, and they will be able to for a little while until a lot of companies or some company comes along and goes, no, we're going to rip up the model. It's now emails and it's messages. In fact, it's going on anyway, just because it's bloody Hartlepool. We're going to rip up the model and we're going to do it in a completely new way.
Yeah.
because the guy at the top will understand chemically, physiologically, what is happening to his customers and how he can turn those customers into, longer lifestyle type customers. So here we don't have the luxury of it being a necessity. That environment that you've come from was a necessity. So you could forget their name, you could be not on your game at 9 o'clock and whatever else, right? And they'll have to come back because they're so deep into the game. We don't get that luxury. Health is the number one thing that people take for granted. Despite what you think and what you wake up every day thinking that you value your health, and your mother will have told you to, protect yourself and look after your health and blah, blah, blah. It's the number one thing that we take for granted until they get to about 50 or 60, which is why this place is built on people who are 50 and 60.